of all, I would like to, welcome again. I would like from the participants, our little group, to say in the chat, what are you currently, in which position? Are you product owner, product manager, person accountable for the project success? Maybe you are a member of a team, product team. Maybe you are entrepreneur, having your own company, developing your own products, or you are just, let's say, product owner or project manager wannabes aspiring in one day. So I will give you, let's say, 1 minute to think about what are you currently, and to write just in a chat to know what is the constitution of our audience today. Of course, as this is early in the morning, I don't expect too much of your engagement with the coffee, but it will maybe help us to set the stage for the what is next. Okay. But I understand we will.
We have a product group manager.
Oh, okay, great.
Tamara Živković is
Cool.
QA manager.
Cool.
You can also raise a hand and unmute yourself if you want to speak, not just to write, and to say a word, and after that I will mute it all again.
But at least we have, let's say, some product people and persons responsible for products. Okay, I will now put one video which will last 20 minutes, and I will give you just a context about what is happening. So this is the interview with 3 persons in a keen to join company, which is a part of Toyota. And this company is a software development company, which has its own 2 products. And I interviewed the first junior product owner. We are working according to Scrum framework, and well, we are not dogmatic about it, but at least we are trying to do our best Scrum as possible. And we have product owners, Scrum masters. Of course, in the larger organization, we have some managers, CEOs, chief product people. As you know, Toyota is an enormous corporation, but definitely I wanted to interview one novice PO. It is a lady from UK, which was working as a member of the product development team as a UX designer, and she transferred recently to this product owner role by, of course, her choosing, because she wanted to be more included into steering of the products. Then I interviewed one seasoned product owner from Serbia, located here. And for the third person, I interviewed their manager, which is practically chief product manager, their line manager at the same time, and the person responsible for the whole line of portfolio of products in this digital ecosystem, to see how they transition, what they are having as, let's say, their accountabilities and responsibilities, how they see them, and of course, how their manager sees them. So I will put this video on, and I will mute myself. You can use chat for your comments, and later we can discuss it. Hey, can you tell us something about yourself?
Anything about myself? Yeah.
Whatever.
Sure. So my name is Grace. I'm the product owner at Kinto Join, but one of them. I look after the Kinto Ride project and the smaller WYSIV project. I live in London.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, hello. Can you tell us something about yourself in general?
About myself in general, well, it's let me see from where to start. I'm Milan Dunic. I work as a product owner at Kinto Join company located in Niš. I'm in this business, in this, let's say, trade from 2017. That's the first time I tried to squeeze people into a particular app and try to make them feel good in that app, and then at the end try to make them stay and pay for that app. So I consider that kind of date to be the date of my starting in this business. So
okay, cool. So let's call it more than 5 years of experience, definitely.
Yes. Before that, I did a lot of internet marketing. I was a Google PPC analyst. I did some digitalia to say around building sites, development, but I wouldn't ever pay to myself to build something,
Can you tell us something about yourself in shortest?
So I'm the head of product for Kinto Join Limited. I've been doing that for 3 years, initially joining a small company called Faxi that was acquired by the Toyota Group. And now dealing with more products around mobility. And otherwise, I've been working within product for the last 15 years now. So yeah, passionate about product management and doing good work with Toyota now.
You mentioned Kinto. What is Kinto in shortest?
As a whole, it's a mobility solutions company. So we aim to provide solutions to all sorts of companies to help get their employees to work, or perhaps aid them in their sort of day-to-day operations. For example, Kinto Ride offers slightly different things to Kinto Join, but the end goal is to provide companies with easier mobility options, whilst, I guess, helping them achieve their CO2 goals.
You mentioned Kinto. What is Kinto for you?
Well, Kinto, as I came into the company, that was a big question for me. It was communicated as a carpooling application at first. It was sustainability was of big importance to Kinto, so sustainable commuting, so sustainable transportation, but also we as an app had let's say activity tracking for walking and cycling. So it was a hybrid that was carpooling application, activity tracking application, and it was basically it was a B2B in a way that it was sold to the organizations who then invited their members of those organizations into the community in the Kinto Join. So it was kind of carpooling activity tracking application with the goal of lowering CO2 output, lowering parking pressure of those organizations, and the tool for those organizations to incentivize that kind of behavior. But let's say in a short sentence, it's a carpooling and activity tracking tool that tries to incentivize sustainable commuting and sustainable transportation.
You mentioned Kinto. What is Kinto in shortest? Can you explain us?
Kinto is the third brand of Toyota. So you have Toyota, of course, you have Lexus, and now you have Kinto, which is a mobility brand. It was announced in 2018 by Akio Toyoda to move towards mobility, which is the future of automotive, let's say.
How long have you been a product owner?
I've been a product owner so since sort of November last year. I was first introduced, and then more involved as a product owner since February, so about 3 months.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you know a lot about product ownership, definitely, after those 3 months. And can you tell me what you were doing before becoming the PO?
Yep, sure. So before I was a product owner, I worked on the UX team, the user experience team. And during my time on the user experience team, I did user experience research as well as market research. And I also moved more into the design side of it. So the user interface design as well as the user experience. So I was mainly, UX designer / researcher.
Cool.
Yeah.
So products are not strange thing to you.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So what is different when you became product owner?
I guess the real difference for me was when I was doing UX and I was doing research, I was sort of aiding decision making, things like that, or trying to influence the way in which we were designing things. If it be usability or just, we should go this way with it because the user feedback is X, Y, and Z. But I feel as a product owner, it's still taking into consideration all of those sort of research elements and listening to different people in your team. But it's more having influence over the whole product in general and making the decisions over what we should do, what problems we should solve, rather than just influencing how we solve the problem.
You are working as a PO, so what is your main accountability?
My main accountability, I would say, to basically make sure that we are adding value to the product, but value can be looked from couple of sides. Value to the end user who is using the application, and in our situation, value from the client side who is paying for our application. So client is paying for the end user to use it, but their stances are sometimes, a bit different. There is a different value for the client and different value for the user. So I'm trying to kind of make a balance of this all and kind of provide all the people with interest into our app some kind of value in the, let's say, not in economical way, but in a resourceful way, to provide value with the resources that we have.
Okay, cool.
I would say it like that.
Yeah, you explain it pretty nice, and I heard balance a lot of times, so I got that you are working as some jongleur or something.
Yeah, exactly.
When you look about your new accountabilities, what is the greatest one of them all for you?
I guess probably prioritization and changing requirements. I think is the greatest responsibility in that sense, because we have different streams of feedback. We've got clients, we've got senior stakeholders, as well as users who are the clients. So it's sort of listening to all streams of those and delivering what the client might need versus what the business wants to achieve versus what the users at the end of the phone are saying about the product. So it's sort of the balancing act of keeping everybody happy.
Okay, you are balancer.
Yeah.
And out of those little challenges you mentioned, what is the biggest one? Can you tell me you are facing currently?
Yeah, I guess it would be the I guess the requirements with the prioritization. So for example, part of that is, I guess, to do with the backlog. So ensuring that we've got a fluid backlog so that if we run into a problem mid-sprint or a couple of days into the sprint, we can say, okay, we can take this out and we can pull something else in that's still going to deliver value and it's still going to deliver something that the client wants. It might not be the absolute top of the list, but we can still swap and change things. So I think the biggest challenge at the moment is just ensuring that there is a healthy but a fluid backlog where there's a level of readiness that it can be picked up by the developers, and the UX team are also happy with it, given the resources that we have.
So are reporting to the CEO directly, is it?
Yes, directly to our CEO, Riyad Jebali, who is also the CEO of another sister company, Motix connected that is mainly taking care of our data and creating data around mobility.
Great. And what is he expecting from you in general?
Who?
In short as possible.
So short possible, everything.
Yeah.
No, like the first thing as a head of product, what he's expecting is a vision of where we want to go. And I think, you know, there is a lot of day-to-day activities that needs to be put in place. Managing the team, training the team. We had recently a junior product manager joining us, so there is also a lot of time training and upscaling the team in general.
Great. Thank you for honesty. And what are accountabilities of your POs?
So I try to give them as much autonomy as I possibly can. This is what I wanted as a PO, and this is what I'm trying to give to my PO. So they have control over the backlog, they have control over the solution that they want to select from the team. And I'm trying to get the team as empowered as possible in that perspective. There is always, you know, of course, things coming from the top,
of course,
even above me, but I'm trying to keep it on the problem and trying to get the team to provide the solution, which is the biggest challenge.
Okay. And what does fall on your plate beside this main accountability? What else are you doing?
Besides trying to kind of figure out what's the value and kind of communicate to the team and motivate the team to provide that value, communication is one of the biggest parts of my position. So basically, all the time doing, like I'm, as you're aware, not coding, but I need to communicate that to the team, to the stakeholders, and then we need to make product as such that the product itself communicates to the end user. So communication, I would say, is the biggest part of the product owner position, and that kind of needs to go smooth.
How do you know that what you are doing is a good stuff, or to say it plainly, that you will satisfy your stakeholders, mostly clients?
So I guess knowing what we do is good is coming from a research background and a UX background, I think that it's really important to go beyond just who your clients are. For example, we only have one client at the moment. So I think it's easy to become sort of tunnel visioned into what they want and just getting their thumbs up. So I think to make sure that, you know, we're doing a good job and what we're doing provides value is taking the product and giving it context and putting it in front of people that might not necessarily have seen it before, whilst obviously still listening to your clients. So I think getting feedback from different sort of streams, so listening to your clients, sitting down with them, understanding how they use it, and how they have changed in using it, depending on what we've delivered, but also listening to people that don't necessarily use that product every day, and seeing what their initial thoughts of it. And as well as that, I think listening to the data. So I always think when you're looking at data on its own doesn't really tell a story, same way that user research doesn't always tell a story on its own. When you pair the two together, you get the sort of round idea of what's happening. So if there's a gap between people signing up versus people actually doing the action of what your product does, and you can see there's holes in the data there, and then if you go and actually speak to the people, you end up getting the full picture. So I think just continuously doing that practice with your clients, but also with people that don't use the product, sort of paints a picture of they like what we're doing, but we can make it even better by listening to people that don't use it, but they would if we did X, Y, and Z, if that makes sense.
You are knowing that you are good in what you're doing and that you are satisfying your stakeholders.
Well, metric and smiles. We follow metrics. We have analytical tools that show us metrics. And then when we are talking with people in front of us, usually stakeholders, you know, we get a lot of feedback from their side. And I say smiles, you know, you see when people are satisfied in which way the the application, the product is going, and when they are not satisfied with it. So I would say, metrics and smiles.
Okay, super. For the smiles, I will not ask you how do you recognize them, but maybe you can explain me what is the most important metric you are using.
Again, as we have a couple of, let's say, client and the end user, from one side, it is the acquisition rate, retention rate on the user side. On the client side, also, we could say acquisition and revenue as a metric. So for us, it's important to get new clients, to retain them, and to make them pay. But also, those clients are paying the license for their users, and we need more of their users to join, stay in the app, and continue using the app. So those are some of the basic metrics that we are trying to follow through.
Cool, great. Just to summarize, your end user is not your customer practically.
Exactly. Customer is paying for our end user.
Okay,
in this case.
In this case, so I see a little bit of complication in the life of the PO, but that's the life. Everything, on one place. What is something that you are most proud of as you as a PO?
Okay, give me a second.
Yeah, of course. Take it.
It's a nice question. I'm trying to pick my favorite. I have, let's say, 2 or 3 favorites. First thing is kind of getting the team on the same page, getting providing the vision to the team and to the stakeholders, and then getting the team to have a consensus, be on the same page, and kind of make and keep the momentum that's pushing us toward that goal. So, like in this company, I'm proud of myself and the team that we are at one point were able to do this. It kind of didn't fall from the tree. It didn't happen from the start. There was an effort needed to be done from all of the sides, and basically that, getting the team to work, in a good teamwork, and getting the synergy out of the team, and then moving towards the goal. Because at one point the goal was shady. We didn't know exactly what we wanted to do. So we, as a team, needed to discover that, and then when that was clear, then you see the team enthusiasm, you see the team energy going towards that goal, and how, again, smiley faces. We are doing a lot of refinements, meetings, and sometimes you can see that it is hard to pull through those meetings, to refinements. There is a silence a lot, and sometimes as the process is moving forward, there is more and more good energy, more and more synergy. So this is what I'm most proud of, to kind of be in that atmosphere, to say.
Thank you very much of your honesty. Out of this interview, I take that the PO is, let's say, accountable for creating smiley faces. That would be something as a leitmotiv.
Of users and stakeholders.
And in the team too, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Nice picture behind you. I hope that
it's not me. It's not me and my wife, but it reminds us of me and my wife.
How you know that you are satisfying your stakeholders?
I mean, it's always about communication, huh? And I will always know that my stakeholders are not satisfied. My goal is to keep them as unhappy as possible. With that, getting between happy and unhappy is a good thing. If they don't hate me, that means that we're doing a good work. Product management is a balancing act. So keeping the communication alive is what's important. When people start to shut down and try to cut you out of the process, this is where you can see unhappiness.
Cool. Exactly you expect from your POs in charge?
So for me, there is a maturity that each team needs to go through. The first thing is to provide transparency and predictability to your stakeholders and having communication around that. Once you are able to provide that because you have a well-groomed backlog, then the next step is to start working towards data-oriented decision. So starting to look at data, start to implement data. And so then you can start to really create this feedback loop in your process.
Great, great. And now let's go back and see, what do you not want to see?
So the first thing that I don't want to see is the absence of a plan. As I always say, agility is a capacity to change the plan. Having a plan is a key to provide the basic transparency and predictability. So a not well-grown backlog, no idea of what's going to happen in the next sprint. That's the thing that I don't want to see. And I would say the lack of focus. Trying to do everything and at the same time is always not good when you're trying to build something.
Thank you very much for this interview. I exhausted all my questions. Okay, first, thank you very much for bearing with us and watching these 20-something minutes. I hope that it wasn't boring too much for you. Few mentions. First, this was not a stage interview, so participants do not know the answers of the other parts or who was interviewed at all. So it was totally approached one by one, just for you to know. And their responses as honest as they choose to be. And now it's your time maybe for some reflection, questions, if you have, or maybe to share something with our little group or what you notice. Don't be shy. Now when you hear what the, let's say, junior PO is doing for those who wants to transfer to this role, does it sound appalling to you or interesting to you? Maybe? Okay.
We have a very shy
yeah, today it's
public here.
early in the morning, but yeah, we don't want to pressure people. You came, you saw, you choose what you want, and that was practically what at least I prepared for you. Of course, I believe that other videos will be put on YouTube, is it?
Yes, probably it will be, yeah.
Yeah. So at least today from 6 p.m. afterwards, I believe I will be there in the ICT hub. So if you save some question for the, let's say, narrow audience, I'm there to answer it. I don't want now to elicit anything, you know, by force, just by being too patient in the silence mode. But it was really my pleasure to record something and to show it to you how you, at least in one small company, are looking from the different hierarchy level on their job, how they are knowing that they are good and they are on the good track, what are their biggest obstacles, and what their manager is expecting from them. As you see, there is always a little bit discrepancy how, let's say, all those levels in organizations are elaborating what is expected for them, but in the basic, you could say that they are pretty much aligned. Although different wording, different priorities are always coming, and I would say especially different stress levels. So it was my pleasure again, and I will leave you to go maybe to another room to check for the next 10 minutes what is happening there.
Okay, for the the end, I will just ask you short, I will copy here in chat Mentimeter link for your fast feedback for us. Just 3 words you choose and describe your feelings about this presentation and about this topic. You can do this immediately, or you can do this after 5-10 minutes. It's okay when you have time, but it really will vary. Oh, we have a question? No,
just
a comment.
comments.
Just
yeah,
a comment.
But it's cool.
Yes. Okay, here is the link for feedback. And thank you very much for everybody. Enjoy it in the day and see you on some other topics. Bojan, thank you also for your presenting, and see you in the afternoon in ICT Hub.
Bye-bye.
Bye.